Can I have a quick fire round with you?
Yes, of course.
What is more important for fluency? Vocabulary, grammar, or pronunciation?
Well, all the three are important, but if you have to make a choice, then I think vocabulary. Because if you have to convey, for example, I, Mumbai, tomorrow. So even if there is no grammar, people will understand that you are planning to go to Mumbai tomorrow. So words are, I think, more important.
What's more effective method? Inductive, deductive, or both together?
Well, I'm sure you know about it, but let me tell the audience. Inductive method or inductive approach in which we present a lot of real life language and we ask learners to find out rules on the basis of examples. So that is inductive approach. Whereas in deductive, we give the rule first and then we ask learners to make sentences based on those rules. So if you think about a child's learning method, a child learns via inductive approach because we present a lot of material, linguistic material to a child, and automatically the brain of that child will form rules, form hypothesis, test hypothesis, and then create rules for language. So I think inductive approach is better.
Should translation be used in the English classroom? Yes, no, or sometimes?
Well, that's a very tricky question. Translation does help when we talk about conceptual clarity. There are quite a few concepts in languages which are difficult to explain in the target language. So, in such situations, instead of wasting a lot of time explaining the concept in the target language, you can just use one or two words or one or two sentences in your mother tongue, in the student's mother tongue, and I think that will help a lot. It will save a lot of time.
What matters more in speaking? Accuracy, fluency, or both?
I think fluency precedes accuracy because if you think about how a child speaks any language, first that child becomes fluent, and then over a period of time, that child will learn what is accurate. So the same thing happens in not just in mother tongue acquisition but in other tongue learning as well. So I think fluency precedes accuracy.
Can mobile apps really help? Yes, no, or sometimes?
Yeah, there are quite a few mobile apps that can help you learn a particular part or a segment of language. But for the overall language, you will have to depend on the real life exposure to language. But yes, for vocabulary development, for example, there are quite a few apps. There are some word games that you can play on apps. There are some sentence drill, like structure drill apps that can help you.
When should we correct learner's error? Immediately, after the activity, or never?
Well, it depends on the situation. When the learners are quite young, in primary schools, for example, there our focus should be on more and more exposure rather than correction because their mind, their brains are not yet tuned to learning logically. So they will just acquire, they will pick up the language. So at that time, error correction may be slightly obstructing the normal language acquisition process. But of course, for adults, when they've already mastered certain bits and pieces of language, and when they start using the language, and if they make a mistake, then obviously the teacher or somebody who knows better language should correct.
What should school focus on more? Spoken English, written English, or both?
I think spoken English, but unfortunately, because it is very difficult to measure and very difficult to execute, even on teachers' part, it is too demanding. First of all, the teacher's language itself can be questionable in certain cases. So if at all you have good teachers and if you are able to manage to teach spoken English and even assess spoken English and give proper guidance in spoken English, then I think spoken English is a primary requirement. Because language itself, language primarily is speech.
Is mother tongue interference a barrier, a bridge, or a nuisance?
Well, first of all, the word interference itself is bad here. It is not interference, it is influence. So, mother tongue influence. So, yes, Mother tongue can influence positively, because I have seen that those people whose mother tongue is good, they acquire the other tongue easily. So it is not a bad thing.
What is best for vocabulary building? Reading books, making word list, or a combination of both?
I think not just two things: reading books, watching movies, listening to songs, listening to podcasts, YouTube videos, all these things are important. We cannot depend on just one thing.
How important is the teacher own English? Very important, somewhat important, not very important.
Oh, crucially important. In fact, if you see a student of class 3 can be taught mathematics by a student of class 4 or 5. But here in language teaching, that is not the case. Even to teach primary learners, you require a person who has a graduate level command of the language, because there are hundreds and thousands of factors involved in language study. And unless you are a competent, comfortable, normal, natural, spontaneous user of English, you cannot teach English. And the same is the case for any other language. If I have to teach Sanskrit, I cannot right now, because I'm not a fluent speaker of Sanskrit. So I will do injustice to my students. I may know a little bit of French here and there, but that doesn't empower me to teach that language. To teach a language, you should be a normal, natural, spontaneous, comfortable user of that language.
What's your most powerful classroom weapon? Chalk and board, humor, or tea?
I would like to say tea, but actually it is humor. Because in many situations when students are not really in the classroom setting mentally, then we have to use some humor. And humor is something which has always worked in all groups with all backgrounds. So I would prefer humor.
How do you survive Monday mornings? Tea, deep breathing, pretending it's Friday.
Well, I don't have Monday blues. Actually, I look forward to Mondays. Teachers, if they enjoy teaching, if they love teaching, then weekends don't matter. For them, every day is like a weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.